Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the show that tries to, cut through all the noise and get straight to the important stuff. Today, we're diving into something really big in AI right now. We're talking about Grok 4. That's the latest model from XAI. And, well, there's a lot of buzz. People are throwing around terms like doctorate level intelligence. So, our mission today is pretty clear. Unpack Grok 4. What is it? How does it work? What are its key features? What makes it different? And importantly, who is this thing actually for? And what does it signal for the whole AI landscape? We've dug into the source material, so let's get started. Okay, first things first, what is Grok 4? Fundamentally, we know it launched around July 9th and 10th, 2025, XAI's new flagship LLM, but what's its actual identity?
Right. Well, the core concept, according to the sources, is that it's designed as a truth-seeking AI companion. That's the phrase they use. It's meant to give direct answers, maybe sometimes a bit unfiltered, and it shows this real curiosity in how it interacts. And that claim you mentioned, the doctorate level intelligence, that's probably the headline feature. The idea is it surpasses many graduates in, well, various fields. It's not just about knowing facts, it's about deep analysis. Imagine trying to sort through conflicting research papers. Grok 4 is supposedly built to spot inconsistencies, biases, maybe even suggest new ways forward. That kind of high-level problem solving.
Doctorate
Yeah.
level. That's a huge claim. What does that practically mean for someone using it? Is it just doing old tasks better, or can it tackle genuinely new kinds of problems? And if it's that powerful, are there different flavors of it, different versions for different needs?
That's a really good point. And yes, it definitely seems aimed at more complex, nuanced problems that need that deeper analytical ability. And to your second question, yes, XAI rolled out a couple of main versions. There's the standard Grok 4, and then there's Grok 4 Heavy. This one's described as a multi-agent version, specifically built for really complex, demanding queries.
Multi-agent, so like multiple AIs working together.
Kind of, yeah.
Mm.
Think of it like a team of specialized AI agents collaborating on a single, tough problem. And besides those, there's also Grok 4 Code, which, as the name suggests, is tailored specifically for developers. Looking at the engineering side, the whole architecture seems built for performance. Its reasoning is supposedly better, based on what the source calls first principles.
Yeah.
It basically means it tries to break problems down to their core components. This allows it to theoretically catch its own mistakes better and deliver more accurate answers. For the user, that could mean fewer hallucinations, those confident but wrong answers, which is critical for complex tasks.
Fewer hallucinations would be a big deal.
Definitely. And another huge factor is the context window. It's massive. We're talking over 130,000 tokens in the application. And via the API, it can go up to 256,000 tokens.
Wow, 256,000. Remind us, what's a token roughly? Like a word?
Yeah, roughly a word or part of a word. So it can process hundreds of thousands of words at once. Think about feeding it an entire code base, or massive legal documents, or even novels. It can hold all that context simultaneously. This isn't just about quantity. It means it can track connections and nuances across huge amounts of text in a way that's just impossible for humans, or even smaller AIs.
Okay, that kind of capacity sounds amazing. Does it mean you don't have to break down your questions as much? Just give it the whole thing. And crucially, how do people actually get access? Where do you interact with Grok 4?
Yeah, it definitely should allow for more natural, sort of holistic questions. You don't need to spoon feed it quite as much, perhaps. As for access, they've made it available in a few ways. Through the X application is one common route. For developers, there's the XAI API for programmatic access, and there's also the Grok.com website directly. And a really interesting feature is something called Deep Search. This taps into real-time data.
Real time, so not just its training data.
Exactly. It pulls from the X social network and the wider web. So the information it gives can be incredibly current, which is vital for things like tracking news or market trends or ongoing events.
Okay, real-time data is a significant step. What about other types of data? You mentioned deep search, but is it just text, or can it handle other things, multimodal capabilities?
Yes, absolutely. It's multimodal. It handles text input, obviously,
All right.
but also visual input, and they can generate images too. Plus, its ability to interpret images is supposedly quite advanced. It's not just generating pixels. It understands the content. Yes, refined voice capabilities too. Aiming for natural, maybe even soothing interactions is what the source material suggests. And just circling back to that heavy version for a second, that multi-agent system, it literally means different AI agents collaborate. They break down problems, work on subtasks, refine the results together.
Like an AI committee, almost.
Sort of, yeah. A bespoke team for each complex challenge. It's designed for more robust answers on really tough stuff.
That's fascinating. Okay, let's focus on the developers for a moment. You mentioned Grok 4 code. What specifically does that offer them? Why is it particularly valuable?
Right, Grok 4 code is really positioned as a productivity tool for developers. It helps with code generation, writing new code faster. It does intelligent code completion, speeding things up. And maybe most importantly for many developers, it assists with debugging.
And it works within their existing tools.
Yes, direct integration into IDE's integrated development environment. So it's right there in their workflow. But the really impressive part, according to the sources, is its ability to take complete source code files for correction.
Whole files, not just snippets.
Exactly. Imagine feeding it your entire project. It's meant to find not just syntax errors, but logical flaws, suggest optimizations, maybe even refactor code for clarity. That could be a huge time saver, a real potential game changer for development teams.
Definitely sounds powerful for coders. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Personality. The sources say Grok 4 has one, often humorous and direct, even on tricky subjects that other AIs might dodge. So less of the cautious as an AI responses.
That seems to be the design philosophy.
Yeah.
Yes, more direct, potentially infused with a bit of humor or wit. And yeah, it has a reputation for not shying away from controversial topics. But that directness has, unsurprisingly, led to some debate in the past.
Controversy. How so?
Well, being too unfiltered can obviously lead to problematic outputs. XAI seems aware of this. The sources suggest they're actively working on moderation adjustments to manage this. It's apparently a balancing act, keeping that truth-seeking, direct personality while ensuring it stays responsible.
That does sound like a tricky line to walk, being bold without crossing lines.
Exactly. They want the directness to serve the purpose of finding truth, not just be provocative for its own sake.
So given these advanced abilities, the different versions, the personality, who is the ideal user for Grok 4? Who are they targeting?
It seems like quite a broad range, actually, which speaks to its versatility. First off, researchers and scientists. That PhD-level intelligence, the analytical skills, it could be huge for synthesizing complex data or literature.
Makes sense.
Then, as we just covered, developers and engineers, especially with Grok 4 code and the IDE integration. Content creators could leverage the text and image generation, plus the real-time data for topical content.
Right, timely content is key.
For businesses, you've got enterprises and analysts using it for large-scale data analysis, strategic planning, making sense of metadata. Customer service professionals could potentially use it for more natural, relevant answers. And finally, the source mentions demanding users, basically. Anyone who needs top-tier performance, direct answers, and a really capable AI for complex tasks, whether personal or professional.
Okay, that's a wide net. But advanced tech usually comes with a price tag. What's the cost situation? How much does it actually cost to use Grok 4?
Yes, the cost. It's definitely a factor. For developers using the API, it's priced per million tokens. Input tokens are $3 per million. Cached input is cheaper, 0.75 per million. And output tokens are more expensive, $15 per million.
Okay, that's the API side. What about regular users, say, through the X app?
It's tied into the X subscription tiers. There's a basic X subscription, which is free, but that only gives limited access to the older Grok 3. To get Grok 4, you need what they call Super Grok. That's running about $300 per year. That gives you Grok 4 access, higher usage limits, and that 128,000 token context window in a pop-up.
$300 a year for Grok 4 and the heavy version.
That's another tier up, Super Grok Heavy. That's significantly more, around $3,000 per year. But for that, you get exclusive access to Grok 4 Heavy, the multi-agent system, plus technical support and early access to new features.
$3,000 a year. Okay, that's definitely positioning it as a premium, perhaps enterprise-level tool for the heavy version.
It certainly seems that way for Heavy, yes. Super Grok at $300 is more accessible, but still a premium product compared to some free or lower-cost AI options.
So with those prices and the big claims, how does it actually perform against the competition? We're talking Claude, Google's Gemini, OpenAI's models. What's the verdict from the sources?
Well, the initial reactions seem pretty positive, even bordering on hyperbolic sometimes. Some reviews apparently called it AGI, artificial general intelligence, though that's a huge statement, and frankly, still highly debated in the field.
AGI is a strong word, but performance-wise.
On several standard AI benchmarks, the reviews cited in our source material indicate Grok 4 outperforms direct rivals like Claude 4, Google Gemini 2.5 Pro, and OpenAI's O3 model.
Okay, so benchmark scores look good. What are the main takeaways, the pros and cons?
Okay, so the pros highlighted are that top-level reasoning, the doctorate-level thinking, the real-time data access via deep search, its strong multimodal skills, image understanding, generation, voice. Also, the excellent support for developers with Grok 4 code. And, for better or worse, its distinct personality and boldness, which makes it versatile.
And the downsides.
The cons are pretty clear too. First, the high cost, especially for the heavy version, is a major barrier. Those past controversies about its unfiltered responses, even with ongoing moderation efforts, still linger a bit. The source also notes that its common sense logic can sometimes be imperfect, which is interesting given the high-level intelligence claims.
So it can do complex calculus, but might trip up on something simple.
Potentially, in some scenarios. It's a common issue, even with advanced LLMs. And finally, a mention of limited transparency of quotes, meaning it might not always perfectly cite its sources for every bit of information.
Right, so it's powerful, benchmark leading according to some, but expensive and still has a few quirks or areas for improvement.
That seems to be a fair summary based on the sources, yes. An exceptionally powerful tool, particularly for complex problem solving and things like debugging code, but comes with caveats.
So when someone's weighing it up against maybe cheaper rivals, is it just about needing the absolute peak performance? Who really needs this level?
That's really the key question, isn't it? It's probably not for everyone. If you just need basic summaries or quick answers, the cost might not make sense. But for those specific users, we talked about researchers needing deep analysis, developers tackling huge code bases, analysts digging into massive data sets, where that extra edge in reasoning or real-time data actually translates to significant value for them, the cost might be justifiable. It really seems targeted at users whose problems demand that absolute top-tier capability. For them, it could be indispensable. For others, maybe overkill.
That puts it into perspective. It's a specialist tool at the high end, perhaps. So wrapping up, it's clear Grok 4 is a major technical achievement. The sources we looked at suggest it was, at the time of review, considered by some to be the best LLM on the market.
It certainly made a splash. And, thinking about how fast this field moves, Grok 4 is here now, but people are already anticipating Grok 5. It leaves you with a pretty big thought, doesn't it? What does it really mean for us, for society, when AI models have this kind of doctorate-level intelligence, access to real-time information, and these distinct, sometimes bold personalities? How is that going to change how we interact with AI day to day, professionally and personally, in the, well, very near future? It's something worth mulling over.
Absolutely. A profound question indeed, and a good place to leave it for today. That concludes our deep dive into Grok 4. We hope this gave you a clearer picture of this significant AI model. Remember, this discussion was based on an article you can find over at AIxploria.com. If you want to keep up with AI news or explore thousands of AI tools, definitely check out AIxploria.com. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.